never been a cooler guy than Steve McQueen. And,
Right.
you know, when I grow up, I want to dress like my brother Scott. I mean, that guy
He is
dresses
cool, hand
cool.
Luke.
He's
Yeah.
cool. And yet the excitement, the thrill of being the race car driver and being his own man and that kind
Yeah.
of thing.
I actually have a painting in my office that I commissioned of a scene of Le Mans.
Really?
In my office, yeah. It's one of the racing scenes. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
I don't think I have.
So tell me why that speaks to you, that scene.
Well, as I said earlier, I just love racing. And I love
So
cars.
it's racing, yeah.
Yeah, it's a racing movie.
Yeah.
It's about the 24 Hours Le Mans in France.
Yeah.
It's a big annual event in June.
But the racing is what draws you into
The
that
racing
film?
is what draws me, and
Yeah.
the romanticism of racing and cars going fast and what's associated with that and
Yeah.
things like that, and just the excitement of that.
Yeah.
And and cars is one of my fun things that I really enjoy, and those two together.
So if you had to pick one film out of your top 10, and you were trying to explain Jesus to people.
I have to go back to Kill a Mockingbird because I think of the scripture, "What you do for the least of these, you do for me," when Christ said that. And so he's clearly standing up for the least of these from the standpoint of being able to do for themselves.
Yeah.
And not looking really to get anything out of it other than just to love that person
right.
and to help them and to do right.
That's good. And Brian, which one would you pick if you had to explain the gospel with just one film?
I'll probably pick Les Mis on explaining the gospel just because there's so many themes that you could weave a whole sermon series on the many themes within Les Mis that tugs on your emotions and yet seeking to understand the difference that the Lord can make in a person's life.
Yeah.
And a dramatically changed life that then changes other people's lives in the process.
That's great. All right, last question. You ready? And you're going to answer it for each other. And again, you can choose not to answer it, but I've asked this question of everyone, so just so you know that. So you're not a commercial real estate guy anymore, and you're not a pastor of a church. You are actually Chippendale dancers.
Oh, my goodness.
And you have to choose out of your titles of each other's top 10 what you would give your brother as their Chippendale dancer name. So you have to choose Scotland's. Out of his titles of his movies, you have to give Scotland his Chippendale name. Which one would you give him?
That's really tough.
Oh, I've got one for sure.
Well, I would narrow Scott down to Cool Hand Luke or Steve McQueen's movie, but that neither one would state what a fine man Scott is. I mean, he is a fine man and a much better man than those two guys, but still.
So we'll call him, when we introduce him on the stage, we'll call him Cool Hand. Here comes Cool Hand Luke.
There you go.
Scotland Wright as his Chippendale name.
I bet a lot of people that know him would think that.
Okay.
But still a much better man.
Yeah. All right. So, Scotland, you get your turn.
Well, the one I seem to gravitate toward the most is Gladiator.
Oh, wow. That's
courageous, strong, willing to put himself out front. Gladiator.
Gladiator. That's a good Chippendale dancer name, I think. I'm glad you didn't say Driving Miss Daisy.
I'm flattered by Scott saying that. I just still have a hard time understanding the Chippendale
I'm not sure I
dancer.
get that.
I'm having a hard time picturing this. For one thing, with my bill, it would be the comedy act.
Right.
If I were in that role.
You saw Chris Farley when he did the Chippendale.
That would be pretty.
That would be me, All right, well, thank you guys for being here today.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks for joining us for Real Conversations. If you happen to be in the Atlanta area and would like to explore what your top 10 movies say about you, you can get real by going to realexperiences.com and book an experience. You can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Real by Art Within.